All right. What is up? What is up, you guys? We are going to talk about this Jake Paul Anderson Silva fight super quick. We're going to do a super quick live stream because I mean, I don't think I don't disagree. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's just let some people get on, because what we're going to talk about Anderson Silva being a 2-1 underdog going into this fight. A 2-1 underdog going into this fight. So I think that's a pretty notable statistic for a number of reasons, which partially have to do with who everyone thinks is going to win the fight. We'll let everybody get on real quick. I got Izzy, my man. But yeah, so those of you not in the know, Anderson Silva is a plus 180 dog. A plus 180 dog. It's insane, dude. 2-1. I'm pretty sure that pretty sure Jake Paul is like minus 220 even. It's like some crazy number where I was like, what, dude? But I'll tell you why I am actually not really pushing back on it in a second. It's just one of those things, dude. I really don't like betting against the financial incentives. Just as a broad rule. Where's boxing on here? Oh, there we go. I just want to double check that I was right. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Jake Paul's a minus 235 favorite. That is a really, really crazy thing, dude. All right, so let's just jump into it. So basically, you look at this thing and it's like, if we're purely going off of skill sets, like, I know that Jake Paul has just, he just starched Tyron Woodley, and people have short memories and they're also not very good at discerning information. But before he starched Tyron Woodley, that was not a very good fight. It was just boring. Like, there wasn't a lot happening. I don't even think either of them had gotten hit with a really heavy shot prior to the knockout in the sixth round. And if you go back to the previous fight with Tyron Woodley, it was pretty boring, right? Like, it wasn't like a lot happening. It was a close decision where everyone was just kind of like, I mean, the reason why it didn't sell very well the second time is because the first one was lackluster, And Anderson Silva is a completely different animal. And I've said this before, I'll say it again, like, when guys are tremendous kickboxers, most of the time when they get into boxing, it just doesn't translate like the way that you would think. I mean, because number one priority in a kickboxing or boxing match is not hitting the other guy. It's not getting hit. It's just a game of tag with a lot of a heavy tax for mistakes. And so by that logic, a person who's used to ducking kicks, knees, elbows, and punches, when you throw him in there, now the only thing he has to worry about is just two fists. It should be easy. It should be so easy for them. And yet, for whatever reason, kickboxers, they get in there and it just doesn't, I mean, obviously it's not the same thing. I mean, like, your stance is all different. And like, it's obviously not exactly the same. But I don't know. It never seems to translate. With Anderson Silva, he is literally the only kickboxer I've ever seen where it did actually look like it translates just like that. Where it's like, dude, how are you ever going to hit this guy? How are you ever going to hit this guy? And So like if you look at that, I mean, Anderson Silva is obviously much older, but he has a wealth of experience and skills that if there were no other factors except just these two guys' skills, I would take that bet in a heartbeat on Anderson. Not necessarily because I thought for sure he would win, but it is a 2-1 favorite. I'm sorry, 2-1 underdog, and Jake at a minus 230. I mean, that's just a total no-brainer bet. But, I mean, Anderson Silva generally doesn't get caught very often at all. I mean, I know Uriah Hall knocked him out. Weidman knocked him out, obviously, but he was showboating. It's just like, I mean, Jake Paul, you guys know, I think Jake Paul's a fucking badass, dude. Like, I really do. I really think that he's a stud. But, again, it basically has nothing to do with Jake Paul. It's more has to do with Anderson Silva. And like what I've seen from him is like, I don't understand how he could possibly be a 2-1 underdog. I don't know. MMA Joey, I'm going to fucking ban you, dude. Talk about something else. Anyway, but like, I mean, I don't like, look, let's just put it like this. In the event that Jake Paul does not catch Anderson Silva with a monstrous shot, how does he win? Like basically, if Jake Paul doesn't knock Anderson Silva out with a nuclear shot, how does he win? He's going to outbox Anderson Silva? I mean, I guess it's not impossible. And Jake Paul's dangerous. He's much faster and better than people give him credit for, and he has titanic power. But I don't know, man. What I see when I watched Anderson was like, oh, this guy is like this is just fun for him. This shit looks easy. Now, the other side of the conversation is this, though. If Anderson Silva wins, the Jake Paul train takes a massive hit, an enormous hit, a huge hit. Because then he's back to fighting YouTubers and stuff, Because like if he loses to Anderson Silva, he could probably sell a Nate Diaz fight, of course. But like the sideshow is kind of over, aside from fighting like a really big star if he doesn't win. So it's like, again, whenever, that's the one thing that's great about the UFC is you never even have to entertain the idea that like maybe it might get dirty, Maybe it might get dirty. Now, Jake Paul just levied accusations at Matchbook or Match, I can't remember, whatever, Matchbook, saying that they rigged it with a judge, There's two ways you could read that, Like my initial read is like, well, yeah, so they're certainly they're not doing any dirty business. He wouldn't bring that shit up. He would never say that if there was any conversation with him rigging the thing. The thing is, like, I think that if there was dirty, and I'm not at all saying there's dirty business, not at all. I'm just saying if there was, probably be like the promoter. Hey man, just in case. Yeah, you're right. Paul will probably go to. I think he's probably going to go to MMA either way. I got roasted by MMA holes. I was on MMA holes for a fucking hour and a half, my man. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. Like boxing is just that's the nature of that sport is because each event is its own thing. There's no history of stand-up behavior or bad behavior. You know, it's like UFC has decades of proof that they play it straight. Like, you know, you do not have to worry about them rigging fights because they just won't do it. It's obvious that they don't do it. There's a million examples that would, that just disprove any allegations of that. Now, I'm not saying no fighter has ever thrown a fight, but the organization is 100% not involved for sure. Like, I really do believe that. I believe that the UFC has never rigged a fight ever. Boxing, again, you're talking about like there's no like infrastructure. There's nothing. It's like, you have a company that has a relationship with a distribution platform and they sign fighters. They hand them a bout agreement, but basically each event is its own business. And so like, you're putting all this stuff together. It's like you got the person who's putting the money in is essentially hiring everyone, like everyone. And it's just like, it's just not surprising that boxing gets so dirty. But that said, it's like, I don't think Jake Paul, I actually feel really confident Jake Paul would have nothing to do with rigging a fight. It's just like, what if one of these money guys did? And then it ends up going to decision and you got a judge that's dirty, That's why I have trouble betting on guys that go against the financial incentive, just because it's like, it's just a big factor you have to consider. And also it's one that you can't really handicap. You're like, well, do you think they did? Because obviously if you knew for sure that one of the judges is bought, you don't, you don't bet on the guy that's rigged against. I don't know. I think most likely it's Anderson Silva by decision. But just because I cannot see Jake Paul landing enough on Anderson Silva to win by decision. That just that doesn't compute to me at all. Jake by decision. How? Jake wins by decision. I mean, yeah. I'm reading this. I hope Anderson doesn't get KO'd. I mean, that's the thing too, though. I mean, Anderson Silva is 47 years old. And he has been knocked out, and Jake Paul can knock anybody out. So if he catches him, I mean, he'll knock him out. And if he does, dude, I will, well, not just me, everybody better put some respect on his fucking name, dude. Because that's a different ball game. He goes, by the way, if you guys haven't watched Mixed Molly Whoppery's documentary he just did about Jake Paul, it's excellent. But like, so Jake Paul fights some YouTuber, then he fights the NBA guy who's a professional athlete, NBA guy. Like that's no joke. It's a joke if you're a super experienced boxer and you do it, but he's not. He has the same amount of experience. He's like just trained, he's been training for what, like, a year and a half. So like Nate Robinson comes in. It's not like Jake Paul's had some huge advantage and he starches him. And then he goes to MMA guys, starts clever with, man, Ben Askren's striking is absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. It's honestly like, I guarantee you that there are lots and lots of professional athletes that were never fighters that posed much more danger than Ben Askren does in a pure striking match. But then he goes to Tyron Woodley. And Tyron Woodley absolutely poses danger. And he wins twice. Second one by knockout. But again, Tyron Woodley was a wrestler first who learned to use a nuclear overhand right, worked into a strong takedown game. You know, he's really fast too. But he's not a traditional striker. Like, he's not an artist like Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva is a fucking artist on his feet. Anderson Silva, coming out of a 2-year coma at age 55 is a better striker than Tyron Woodley. But that goes for everybody though. Anderson Silva is he's legit. Trying to think of who's a better natural striker, or kind of all around striker than Anderson Silva. I mean, you got Izzy, but Anderson Silva in his prime, there's no one better. There's no one better. Anderson Silva is plus 500 by decision. That's insane. But like I said, that right there, you might be betting on an outcome that's rigged not to happen. And I'm not making an accusation at them at all. It's just one of those things that everybody knows. Everybody knows that boxing gets rigged sometimes. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about this. Adam, thank you for the super chat. My brain says Jake. My heart says Anderson. Glad I don't gamble anymore. Gang. Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm not going to bet the fight. But for the exact reason that I'm stating, which is that complete, clean playing field, I would go Anderson by decision. But there are question marks there. I mean, Anderson, like I said, Anderson's 47, and Jake Paul is a tremendous athlete and is a really, really good boxer now. And so he certainly could win. It's just but yeah, if I had to bet, I would bet on Anderson by decision. And given that, like I said, all the financial incentive is pushed towards Jake Paul winning, I don't like betting in the opposite direction of that, just because it's humans generally follow their financial incentives. Jake Chapman, thank you very much, sir. Jake Paul versus Bo Nickel for Paul's UFC debut. Yeah, he doesn't want that, dude. He doesn't want that one bit. But if you got in a boxing match, that's a different ball game. That is a different ball game. And yeah, so I'm gonna be on Schaub's Fight Companion tomorrow again. So you guys check it out. I'll be on with Sam Tripoli, Frank Mir, and Schaub tomorrow, which is gonna be super fun. The first one, it was the first one that I did with those guys. So it was I just didn't know what to expect. But fuck me, I'm fucking excited. Because we hung out after I met Frank probably 20 minutes before we were on camera. Now, we did the whole Fight Companion together, and we hung out all night that night. And then we hung out at the airport. Dude, he's my guy now. Same with Schaub, actually. I mean, I'd hung out with Schaub before, but I'm fucking excited for this thing. I'm legit excited to hang out with these dudes again. It's gonna be super fun. And I heard Tripoli has some really awesome conspiracy theory stuff. Some shit that's even crazier than I think. I will definitely explore that with him tomorrow. Hap Chandler, thank you very much. Thank you, Julian. So he's a flat earth guy. Is he really? Yes, dude. Yeah, the flat earth thing. I didn't even when I did that video about Bryce Mitchell, I left out a small piece of information that seems relatively relevant. So I worked at the largest private satellite provider in the country. Like I'm actually one of these people that, like, we're not speculating. Like, I know, like, I all the things that they say, I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, you sound like a smart guy. Sounds like you have been watching some really interesting videos. But my dude, the earth is for 100% sure not flat, dude. Okay. Well, hey, I mean, the satellite, so you actually saw the satellites? Yes. Yeah, I did. They're all, so, like, you're saying not like the stuff that NASA puts out. Like, I'm like, no, the company that I worked for, we had 160 satellites in one constellation, and we had another 80 in another constellation, the high definition stuff. We could aim them. Like, we could literally just tell the satellite, okay, take a picture right there. They're all, how come no one ever takes any pictures of Antarctica? I'm like, what the fuck? I could fucking send you a picture of Antarctica, whatever you want. You want to know why you don't see them? Because it's just a block of ice. Like, because I did that, of course. So we had access to the whole thing. So, like, I could go look at anywhere in the world with, like, the satellite took a picture of every inch of the earth every day. So, like, there was at least one image of every inch of the earth every day. We're the only company that could do that. And so it was like, yeah, you want to see Antarctica? Cool. Boom. There it is at 2 p.m. So, yeah, I ain't the one on the flat earth, dude. But I guarantee he and I will have some overlap, because there are some things that I think are very obvious. I would say mine are less like theories and are more just like obvious. If you are capable of, like, completely disassociating from, like, well, why do I think I know that? Oh, it's because they all said that's what happened. If you could just disassociate from that and just be like, okay, so really think about it. Are there any holes in what they're saying? Is there, like, a purpose that you could think of why they would do that? Like, does it actually start to look completely ridiculous that you actually believe it? Yes. Okay, cool. That. Um, Hundreds of thousands of satellites. Dude, you want to know what I've seen there? So we had this thing. So basically, like, the things that are orbiting the Earth are going 6 or 7,000 miles an hour. And so, like, if you put up a satellite, and then you know how they'll say, like, oh, that's a decommissioned satellite. What that actually means is it's a satellite that someone a company put into orbit. How do you think that the satellite moves? How do you think the satellite, like, takes photographs? It's because it has an energy source in it. And what do you think happens when it runs out of energy? Like, it runs on gasoline or whatever. What happens when it runs out of gas? Nothing. It just fucking stays there forever. And once you can't control them and you got all these things floating around, they smash into each other. And then so there's so much shit orbiting the Earth because of all these decommissioned things that have been smashing into each other for decades. So in order to make sure that your satellites don't get hit by them, there's, like, this whole imaging thing that, like, anything, any piece that's as big as a Snickers bar or bigger. So it's literally like, if a piece is this big or bigger, then we've got it mapped, and you can actually zoom out, and you could just see where everything is. And it's round, you guys. It's a big round thing of all this shit orbiting the Earth. And you have to track that to make sure that your satellites don't get smashed into. My thoughts on Bryce Mitchell. I think I just talked about the flat Earth one. And on the that's a completely different conversation. My pick for the fight. Okay, so my pick for the fight would be Anderson Silva by decision, if I didn't think that there was a chance that you know, maybe there's some funny business. Here's the other thing, though. I want Jake to win. Let's just make that. I mean, I'll make that very clear on the Fight Companion. I want Jake to win. Now, I won't be able to, like, you know, when O'Malley won and we all jumped out, you know, well, I guess I jumped out of my seat, but all of us were so fired up. That was unique because, I mean, I like Peter Yan, but I love O'Malley, man. And I really want Jake Paul to win. But if he was fighting someone that's not Anderson Silva, then I'd be a lot more excited when he won, you know, because, like, you can't, like, dude, if you're like me, and I've talked about this a million times, I haven't missed a pay-per-view in 20 fucking years. Not one, dude. Not one. So, I mean, I was dick deep in Anderson's entire career. And so anybody like me, and I'm sure some of you guys, it would be sacrilege to root against Anderson Silva. But I like the Jake Paul show. I think he's fucking smart and hilarious. And he taught himself how to box. He gets a lot of credit for that from me. No, Schaub is friends with Jake Paul. He's friends with Jake Paul and Logan Paul. They're like his buddies. But the Arnold Allen and Calvin Kattar fight, dude. You want to talk about the most, like, one of the most underappreciated headliner fights. Like, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. That's a freaking barn burner, dude. That is a barn burner fight right there. Like, here, I'll show you guys what I texted to hold up. This is what I texted Schaub and Mir about this. It's like, yeah, I was like, look, I'm like, Arnold Allen has never thrown a punch that he didn't intend to finish inside the shattered skull of his opponent. Like, Arnold Allen throws heat, son. He throws heat, and Calvin Kattar is a game-bred motherfucker, dude. It's going to be a great fight. A really, really great fight. Arnold Allen is again, he's one of those guys, like, you know, you could kind of just put yourself in the headspace of someone who was going into a fight, you know, like going into a specific fight, just kind of like, just think about it like they are, okay, this is the guy that you're fighting. How do you feel? What are you going to try to do? Because it'd be just so different depending on who your opponent is, because, you know, it's like, you know, you do a jiu-jitsu tournament at some random thing. It's like, if you've never fought against a guy before, you don't have any idea what you're up against. It's just a name, you know? But like with these guys, they've got mountains of film on these guys. They know pretty much what's coming at them. And fuck me, dude. Arnold Allen, I would literally just be like, Jesus. Because you know for sure there's no scenario where you're not getting hurt, dude. You know? Like, and not like hurt, like, you know, you're going to get necessarily put out. But Allen is a guy where, you know, he moves forward so fast and he throws so much heat. The odds that you're going to be able to, like, just avoid his punches and somehow stay in there, you know, enough to, like, counter him, that's not going to happen. Like, you're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to be blocking. And when a guy throws punches like that with tiny little gloves and it hits your fucking arm, that shit hurts, dude. Like, this shit fucking hurts. Just because it's not knocking you unconscious. Is it like, so you just know going into that Arnold out, like, you're like, dude, I'm going to get battered in this fight. Like, I'm going to get fucking battered. And it's inevitable. In other fights, you can at least go in and there's like a scenario where you're able to kind of like subdue a guy and not take any blunt force trauma. That shit's not happening with him, dude. You're gonna get fucking hurt. Hold on. I got head kick sparring with Todd Duffy 4 years ago. I was 145. Oh my God, dude. Didn't KO me, but my left ear had to get 5 surgeries to make it normal again. Bro, why'd he kick you so hard if you're 145 pounds? But yeah, I mean, that guy is an absolute monster. He's pretty crazy, right? I've heard that he's like crazy. He's like a crazy guy. We're gonna watch both. Yeah, we're gonna watch UFC and the Jake Paul fights. We start at 7. Let me double check this, but I'm pretty sure that the Fight Companion starts at 7 p.m. Pacific. Let me see. Oh, wait, actually, I just put it up on my Instagram. Let me double check. On Thick Boy. Oh, it doesn't say. Hang on, let me text this dude. Because I get in there like I land at like 3:30, and then I'm just going straight to the studio. Adam, thank you very much, dude. As long as Anderson is alive and competing in something, I will watch him. Even if it was like shuffleboard or something, my superhero. Dude, I'm saying. And here's the other thing. Someone just wrote this. Silva got paid a lot of money under the table to lose by decision. See, this is the kind of thing you got to be careful how definitive you say things. But I mean, listen. I don't know Anderson Silva personally. I have no idea what he's like behind closed doors. What I know is just the common sense stuff. Like, if I'm 47 years old, I'm kind of boxing for fun. There is certainly a number, and I'm just speaking for myself. There is certainly a number that I would take to lose a fight to Jake Paul. You know what I mean? Like this, and like there's a number there. It's like Ben Askren. He got in there and he got knocked out, and then after it was like, oh, he got paid $1 million. It's like, yeah, did he really lose? He doesn't seem like a guy who really cares that much about, like, you know. I'm doing Brendan's. So I fly into LA tomorrow, and I'm doing Fight Companion with Brendan, Sam Tripoli, and Frank Mir. Thank you very much, sir. It was good, dude. I agree. It was good. When I watched it back, I was like, dude, this is solid. Just because, like, it was just good because we stayed on fights the whole time. Like, the conversation flowed and we stayed on fights. Dude, I'm telling you, dude, like I saw, I mean, I was in the crowd for one of his shows. I was in the green room for 2 the next night. I'm telling you, live, he kills, dude. He really does. I'm telling you, like I mean, there are people who don't think I'm funny. So that's super bizarre. So comedy is just like an acquired taste. I mean, the people who go to his shows think he's fucking hilarious. Later, Keith. The MMA hole said, what's up? That's because they're my fucking peeps, dude. Chris fucking awesome. And dude, I met her at the end of the interview too. I like them, dude. He told me that when they first started that he like just went, see, like I like MMA YouTube in 2016, 2017 wasn't like super on my radar. I mean, obviously the fights were, but I wasn't really like kind of in the mix on what was on like MMA YouTube. And Chris told me like when they first blew up that he just like, he would go around and just fuck with everyone. Like he was intentionally trying to start beefs with everybody. He's like, he said he got blackballed by Ariel and Luke Thomas. And like, I just think that's so fucking funny. Cause I actually thought about doing that too. Like if I really dug into my old messages, I could show you conversations that I had with Mix Molly when I was first starting, when I was like, dude, you know what I'm thinking about doing is exactly that. I was like, I'm going to go create a bunch of YouTube beefs, you know, like just start challenging people to stuff. Cause I'm like, dude, it's what works in the fight business. Why would it not work over here? And he was like, I don't know if you want to do that. And I respect Mix Molly's, you know, insight enough that I was like, man, if he doesn't think it's a good idea, maybe it's not a good idea. I think it would have worked, but it worked out anyway. They think we're lying. Dude, why would I make that up, man? Like, why would I make up that I don't argue with Gabrielle? Gabby, come here. Because we're live on the internet. See, watch. See, most girls get super mad about this. Get the fuck up here. Get the fuck up here. It's our first fight, you guys.
I have a call.
You have a call when?
In 8 minutes.
With who?
Someone interested in the Happy Cup.
Come have a seat. They don't believe that we don't fight, dude.
Oh, no, we don't really fight.
One time, Gabrielle
Somebody yells at me to come up and get on his live stream. Hey, y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, what time is the party tomorrow?
She hit a dude with a fucking straightening iron, though.
I did.
And then tried to throw his computer out the window.
Hey, guys. I was 20. So.
Dude, I'll tell you, dude, our first real fight, I was uninvolved, dude.
He was sound asleep.
I was literally asleep. Gabby was blacked out drunk. Oh. Nah, you don't know what that means.
I know what blackout means.
You do? What does blackout mean?
It means that's something black.
It means it's all black, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Daddy, I think my tooth is. Hey, what time is the party?
Nice.
Tomorrow?
So I brought her with me to this cabin in Tahoe with a bunch of my buddies. And like she'd never hung out with them before. These are guys that are they're my really good friend. They're like our family now. Well, I mean, they were already my family. But so she is like, it's her first time hanging out with them. And we got blitzed, dude. And I was so fucking tired. Alex, what's up, man? I was so tired. And so it's like 10:30 or 11. And I'm like, you know, nodding off in our bedroom. And she's like, she wanted to go party or something. And I keep waiting.
I just didn't know them very well yet. It was like the first time I had met them, and I was not tired at all. And he was going to sleep, and I was like, "Dude, like, let's go upstairs and hang out with them."
So I would go black, and then when I woke up for a second, every time that I woke up, she was more mad and yelling at me. Like I was like,
throwing clothes around.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going? I'm like, the fuck? And then I just like fall back asleep, and then I wake up, and she's more irate. And I fall back asleep, and then I remember. I remember the last one. I woke up and she was sitting in the corner on the bed. She's all, "This is our first fight." I was like, I've been fucking with her about that for literally like 14 years. This is our first fight. It's our first fight.
Our first fight.
Hey, Gab. See, should I tell him? It's like, no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
In particular. Can you please find out what time this party is tomorrow? You guys need to schedule something.
Your hammy's a bit tight. I don't know, man.
Get a foam roller.
Oh, that was a serious question.
I don't know. Like younger men. Afternoon doesn't help me. I need a time.
What are we doing? Are we gonna watch a movie or something? Oh, you have a call?
No, he just had to reschedule.
The MMA holes don't believe us that we don't fight.
No, we don't really. I think you put it perfectly. Like we just both. I mean, we're both very opinionated, but neither one of us really like puts our foot down unless we're really serious about something.
I said the better way to put it is both of us have a really good fuck it button where it's like, man, fuck it. Dude.
Yeah. Like if you make a stand, I'm like, fuck it. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Or vice versa.
It's not worth fucking yelling about.
We typically have disagreements over anything where both of us are like, line in the sand.
Did the end this scary the way out of there?
What?
Did you show them Giselle's video?
Oh my God. Yes.
You're welcome.
Okay, go do your thing.
How? It's not happening.
Oh, it's not? No. They're out? Dude, you guys, this is the fucking best.
So funny.
This is the best thing ever. Okay, so I'm downstairs and I'm like, where the hell's Giselle? And they're like, oh, she's up on her phone. And I was like, she's up on her phone. Like the whole family's downstairs. I was like, I'm gonna go scare the shit out of her. So unbeknownst to me, what she was doing at the time was she had set up a camera and was like singing. Like, so like this was never intended for anyone to see. Like she's like set it up like she's doing like a Britney Spears impression. And I snuck in and scared the shit out of her. It is literally the fucking best. It's like the best jump scare of my entire life.
Take that out of there.
Dude, I'm gonna watch that 1,000 times. It'll never get old, dude. Never ever get old, dude.
Someone asked how long we've been together up there. It's gone now. 14 years married 14 years in December. We've been together since I was 22.
The first time we got naked was New Year's Eve, 2006.
George's little ears. She's like, what does that mean?
Or actually, the 29th. It was the night before Tito fought Chuck Liddell, part 2. I know that date because of this. Like,
you should make that a YouTube.
Because I have like a point of reference. There was like, I know for sure, like, because I know that was the first time with her, and then the next day Tito fought Chuck, and the day after that was New Year's Eve. So they would that would be December 30th, 2006. Go look that shit up. December 30th, 2006. What? And just like, how do you want? I mean,
you introduce the video of Giselle.
Oh yeah, I should do that. I thought you were saying make a YouTube short where I'm all, hey, you know how I know when Tito and Chuck's fight was?
No, that's not.
That's
not exciting.
Yeah, I mean, depends on.
But no, it'd be really funny. Like intro something and then show the video.
Yep.
See, someone else said make it into a short YouTube premium account.
Dude, that shit. It's
so fun. I've literally watched it like 50
I know.
Okay.
All right, yeah. So we start at 7 p.m. Pacific. The fight companion. Whoever's hiding back there, get out. Is Jen behind my set?
No, she's out here.
Are you sure?
I can see her.
Wait, really?
Yeah, she's right here.
What about Georgia?
They're both out here. You guys need to clean up.
I could have sworn there was someone behind there. No, he didn't super chat it, dude. I was just putting it up there to prove a point with her because she's like, nobody knows how to tap this like daddy. But like, wait, let me see. So, yeah, that was literally the funniest fucking thing ever. I laughed for like 15 minutes after. No, I did not. What Cejudo? What Cejudo interview? I mean, it's again like if I had to bet, I would bet on Anderson by decision, but I would never bet that. I would never bet that. Even dude, even at 5-1, dude. I would hope that Bell gets. I mean, listen, if you watch that fight that Le'Veon did, the first one, because when I first saw the Uriah Hall versus Bell fight announced, I was like, what? Like he's gonna, dude, that's insane. Why would anyone like Uriah Hall against an NFL player? And then I went and watched that fight, dude. Uriah, like Le'Veon he is explosive, dude. Now, of course, obviously, I still think that Uriah Hall is going to win, but it's not like Le'Veon Bell like poses no danger. He's a ridiculous athlete, dude. If Uriah Hall loses to Le'Veon Bell, what is that to his legacy? And if Uriah retired today, how would you look back at his UFC? I mean, certainly when he knocked out Anderson Silva, that was a vicious knockout. I mean, Uriah Hall is just one of those dudes where he, in my opinion, he always wanted to make the shot perfect, like what I was saying earlier about if you're, what priority one in boxing or kickboxing is not to hit the other guy. It's to not get hit. Priority one, don't get hit. And then find your spots where you can hit them, and I mean, that's it. It's a game of tag. It is literally a game of tag. But so Uriah Hall took that very seriously, he took that shit real seriously, and he really was great at not getting hit. But he was not very aggressive of, when he was going to stick his shots in there. Now, when he did, he posed tremendous danger. He had a lot of really creative strikes. So he was really fun to watch when he was moving. But like, it just never really happened for him. But I have heard, I've heard from a lot of people that in the gym, he's the king of the world. And I used to kind of like hear that about people and just kind of go, okay, well, whatever. But when you think about it, it matters. Like it really does matter, because it's like if these guys are consistently dominating in practice, they're fighting against guys who are the best in the world. And then it's just one thing or another, when they fight under the lights, it just doesn't come together quite as well. But man, that knockout when Uriah put it on Anderson was vicious, dude. That was on Halloween, I think. I'm pretty sure that happened on Halloween, or if I'm remembering correctly. It's so funny, dude. The way that I remember, like the reason I know when these fights were is because I remember where I was watching them. Like that's how my brain works. Is like, okay, I remember that, and I remember I was, here's where I was. I'm pretty sure the Uriah Hall one. Let me see that. Be like 3 years ago or something. Anderson Silva, October 31st, 2020. Dude, I am a fucking genius, man. Then he beat Weidman. Then he lost to Strickland, and then lost to Andre Muniz. Dude, he was on a 4-fight win streak though when he lost to Sean Strickland. See, that's like Sean Strickland. That's a matchup that he should have done well in too. That's one he should have done better in. Guru's going after O'Malley. Check his premiere upload coming in 10 minutes. How do you know that? How do you already know what it is if he hasn't even uploaded it yet? I don't really understand though. Like O'Malley, I mean, it just depends on how he frames it. But Bay's frequency, he did his video on O'Malley versus Jan was excellent. Me and Bay's frequency have always been cool. Like we actually rap out a lot. I know him and Shab kind of had something, but I don't care. I'm friends with everybody. But here, check this out. The Bay's frequency one about Jan versus O'Malley was really excellent. And especially it was like, you know, it wasn't like the Weasel one where it's really, really. So look,
Poirier's, Gaethje's, and Chandler's over the coming months and years before UFC to be a robbery and grappling.
I mean, we're not going to watch the whole thing. I just wanted to show you guys and tell you, like, this is what it looks like, and it is very, very good. And but it's, you know, it's not like the Weasel one where it's going through every single strike. It's just more. It's like how I looked at it, where I was like, it's just the more high level look at the fight and breaking down whether or not it's a robbery. And it's just overtly not controversial that it was not a robbery. And there's really no strong defense to say there was. You know, it's like there's just no conversation there. It comes down to the first round, and the first round was like Jan landed like 4 or 5 more total strikes, and O'Malley landed 4 more heavy strikes. So like it's just all shit like that where you're like, fuck, man, I don't know. And then Jan got the one takedown, but then he actually read out of the rule book how you're supposed to score takedowns and ground control. And basically he just laid out, he's like, dude, he shouldn't have won because of that. But it's kind of like I think he said like if he had to give it to someone, he might give it to Jan. But that's the level of, that's what you're talking about. So like even if Jan, you know, should have won, that's the level that you're operating at. So it's so dumb that everyone calls it a robbery, especially given that the round that O'Malley decisively won was the 3rd round. That shit matters because it's like, it's the last round of the fight. It's the last thing that happened, you know? Oh, is Guru biting off more than he could chew with this beef? No, I mean, if he's trying to beef with O'Malley, no, dude. Honestly, I would probably say the inverse. Like if you're a person, like, here's the thing. This is an honest like assessment of this, how this breaks down. It's like if you don't actually enjoy beefing, you know, like if you don't enjoy making videos where you're fighting with someone and the other person does, just don't get into it. You know what I mean? Like there's no, cause like a lot of times you have like, because you have people who are exceptional at like fucking with people. You know, you'll see it in like rap a lot, like, you know, in hip hop artists where the one will go after the other, they'll come back and forth. And there are certain guys that are extremely talented in taking people down, and they enjoy it. Like they really genuinely like doing it, you know? And then on the other side, so, you know, like people will end up feeling like they have to respond, or they just get mad and they do a response. And every time it's like, dude, that was not smart. Because like that now the person's just gonna they're like, yes, like you've won nothing. You got mad enough that you gave them exactly what they wanted, and they're gonna eat you alive with it. Guru doesn't strike me as someone who's gonna run out of gas on beefing with anybody. So if he's trying to bait Sean into it, I don't know if that's what you're saying, because I obviously haven't seen the video, but everyone check out the dude, exactly. Like exactly. This is a perfect example. Perfect example, dude. There is no scenario where you are going to put out a piece of content and win against Jake Paul. Like, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. Now, your best case, if you're a person who really likes doing this, then you win because you just get to kind of do it back and forth and back and forth. But there's no scenario where it's not going to end with them like, damn, he dominated Jake Paul. You guys get some good shots on each other. Maybe you end up liking each other at the end, but that's your best case scenario. And if you don't like beefing, then just don't do it. That's why when Dana did that response to Jake Paul, I saw John McCarthy was like, I don't think that Dana understands what he's biting off here. And I was like, I totally fucking agree, dude. I totally fucking agree. Me and Beige are buddies on, we DM each other. But yeah, he and I have talked a lot. That's one cool thing about having a channel is like, if there are people who have channels that you like, it's not hard to end up rapping out with them because, you share that in common. Patrick Avia, I talk to a lot. He's a stud, dude. He makes exceptional content. Mix Molly. Jose, what's up, dude? Thoughts on the Guru versus Dan Hardy beef? That is a perfect example of what I was talking about. I mean, obviously, someone benefits from that, and it ain't Dan Hardy. Oh, about Pelosi's husband. I did hear about that. The dude, I was going to do a Jesse on Everything video about it, but I forgot. The dude who did it is a weirdo, man. He's a weirdo. He's like they found pictures of him in a nudist wedding. Like he was like that's the picture. They're all, who is this guy that attacked Paul Pelosi? And it's like, hey, it's this dude in this picture from this nudist wedding. You're like, a nudist wedding? Nudist wedding. That's a thing? They were like, and dude, the way they wrote these articles, though, is just mind-numbing. They were like, they're like, this is becoming more and more a problem since Donald Trump got elected, because of this incident and this incident where blah, blah, blah. It was like some other senator. I was like, oh, you're just going to conveniently leave out the part that Brett Kavanaugh actually had people. There was like an assassination attempt. But that one doesn't make the New York Times, really. I mean, I feel like you're trying to make a point about public service people, ending up in danger, but that doesn't qualify. A Supreme Court justice had a murder plot foiled, but no, that doesn't make it. It's only these lunatics over here. It's like, dude, if a person plots to attack a public figure, they're not on the right or the left. They're crazy. Like, they're a crazy person. Like, there's the attempts to try to put them in one camp or the other are so fucking stupid. It's like, dude, So, I mean, if we're doing the categories thing, it's like, so you are a cis white male who lives in Texas and believes in blah, 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 da, 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 da. And it's like, right. Yeah. And they're all, and you're all, we don't need to do this. He's crazy. Like he's not like, well, he's also cis. No. Blah, 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 blah. He's crazy. Okay. That's what he is. He's fucking crazy. That's all. That's the only category we need to talk about. He's a crazy person. Okay. A nudist wedding. Well, but you can tell by the posts that we found that he supported QAnon. It's like, so what's your point? Well, that means he's on the right. It's like, no, he's crazy. He is a crazy person. So lame. And then like the thing was like one other time, earlier, the Pelosi's townhouse had a pig's head left in front of it on the street. And then they were like, this happened before the January 6th attack. I'm like, that is such a stupid and misleading way to write that. Like they try to imply like some fucking pig's head was like part of some, broad national, syndicate conspiracy. They're all, hey, if we're going to raid on January 6th, make sure we leave a pig's head on Pelosi's townhouse in San Francisco before we go try to take over the government without guns. So fucking dumb, dude. No, the pig's head was left there by a crazy person. It's a crazy person that did that. Well, what about the guy who went after Brett Kavanaugh, dude? That they're on the left. No, that's a crazy person. They're crazy. Now, that said, did I entertain the fact that maybe this whole thing is bullshit? Just given the proximity of this happening to the midterms, 100% I did. Absolutely I did. For sure, I consider that. It's like, oh, October, an attack on Paul Pelosi. And he got hit with a hammer and he's fine. Like, he's fine. He got hit with a hammer, but he's fine. He got hit in the head with a hammer. He's fine. Dude, if I hit you with a fucking hammer at 9%, boop, you're not fine. Okay? You are not fine. Not fine. So, whatever. Ray Epps, exactly. I mean, there's a reason why I know all this shit about the guy. Is because to me, I was like, this is really fishy. Because she seems to always be in the middle of these things. Oh, during January 6th, someone had their laptop stolen and it was Pelosi. I'm like, of course it was. Of course it was. Anyway, no more of this talk. What do you mean Dana banned Jake? In Guru's defense on the Kane thing, he lives in the UK. Like, people don't have guns in the UK. As far as I understand, he lives in the UK. Like, gun stuff is interpreted different over there. He also doesn't have kids. That's the big one, dude. If he's still going live in however many years when he has kids, ask him to revisit that story. He might change his mind. If Jake goes to MMA, wouldn't they just wrestle the shit out of him and get? Yeah, of course. Well, no, because they wouldn't put him up against a wrestler, dude. Where's the percentage in him getting wrestled? The percentage is in him knocking someone out. I mean, listen, like look at the Brock Lesnar experiment. Do you have any idea how much money the UFC made on Brock Lesnar? And if Brock Lesnar goes in there and, the first fight was against Frank Mir knee barred him. And then if he goes in there and then when he fights Heath Herring, he just gets smashed again. Do they make do they make all that money on Brock Lesnar? Of course not. They need him to win. Like, he needs to win for that to be, you're gonna get the big hit from the first fight. So Jake Paul goes to the UFC. I mean, who knows if he would go to the UFC, but like, if Jake Paul goes to the UFC, you'll get a monster pay-per-view for the first one. If he loses, especially if he lost where it was like they just squared up and someone just took him down and just made it boring and ground him out, you'll still get a pretty big hit on the second one, dramatically less numbers than the first one. And if he just got wrestled and wrestled out again, then you're not selling a third one, dude. And so the UFC knows that, which is why they would not put him against a wrestler. Like, UFC doesn't rig fights. Like, they're not going to be like, hey, listen, we need you to stand with him. They won't do that. But they would certainly select an opponent highly likely to stand with him. Dude, you're tripping. You are tripping. Dana would sign him in fucking 1 second, dude. Literally in 1 millisecond. And you want to know why? Like, the reason why you think he wouldn't sign him is the exact reason that he would. That's the reason that he would. For 100, believe me, there's no question. Because it's like, dude, he's been going after Dana, right? So like, you think he wouldn't sign him because he's been going after Dana and talking all that shit, right? That dude, the second that he signs a contract with the UFC, Dana owns him. Like that, believe me. I am very, very crystal clear on all that. The second he signs, Dana's his daddy, and Dana knows it, and so does he. Dana cuts him a check, but Dana's daddy now. After he signed, he'd pat him on the ass and be all, let's go make some money together, kid. Make sure when I pull that leash, you do what I say. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, that non-disparagement clause in the contract. I guess you're not going to be making any more videos about me, I guess. I mean, then he's not going to fight in the UFC. They're not going to rework contracts for Jake Paul, If he wanted to fight in the UFC, they would sign him to a 2-3 fight deal or something. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying he would just sign six fight deal or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that they would sign him because Jake won't conform to how people fight in the UFC, and UFC is not going to change the way that they engage with fighters just to sign Jake Paul to a one fight deal or whatever. They're not going to do that. But if Jake would agree to, and I'm saying he get paid a lot, like he gets paid a lot, but nonetheless, he's still going to have just all the shit that's in there. Like, they're not going to give him like boxing carve outs and shit. Like, that won't happen. Maybe if I was in Dana's shoes and I was going to try to sign him, I would require it to be a 3-year deal. 3-year deal or 3 fights. And that's low. Like, that's the lowest I think that they would consider taking. Because if it's less than that, you're not going to do it, because you're not going to put a bunch of marketing behind him and grow his brand as a fighter and then give him legitimacy and then just let him run out on the open market and go take what you helped him build and go do shit with it. Like, you have to lock him in for a few years. I have no idea how many fights they signed Lesnar for, but Lesnar wanted to be a UFC fighter. Like Jake is doing the whole independent thing. It's totally different. It's totally different. Yeah, I mean, because like Jake Paul's tied in with another promotion. Like Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, like these guys were WWE stars that wanted to come in and, do what they were going to do, but they weren't promoting their own fights. They weren't like, it's just very, very, very different. Not necessarily. I mean, it's not different in terms of how the company would market it or what the impact would be. But in terms of like contractually dealing with these guys, it's completely night and day. CM Punk fought twice. You see Logan getting signed before Jake. I mean, that's actually potentially true. Yeah. That's potentially true. But honestly, because of what I'm talking about, contractual stuff, it wouldn't be that like Logan is more likely to have the balls to go in and fight. It wouldn't be that. Yeah, dude. I mean, dude, you guys saw, I assume you guys saw Dana on Logan Paul's podcast. Like they're obviously cool, like him and Logan. So like Jake Paul fucking with him in the media, like Dana knows exactly what he's doing. I mean, Jake Paul's a brilliant troll. He knows how to he knows how to jump on trending topics. I mean, Logan Paul is easier to deal with, but he has, at least right now, he has less value than Jake. I mean, there's just no question. Jake Paul is a bigger brand in the fight business. That just is what it is. When's the last time I smoked weed? Fucking never. I honestly don't remember. I think I probably ate, last time I remember eating a gummy was like, Jesus, I think that was like 2018 or something, maybe 2017. Hey guys, look at, hey guys, find Rav in your shitty. Find Rav in your shitty. Are you Ronry? Are you Ronry? You need someone to come make you fear our better? Bye-bye. Wait. For once and for all, was that Paulo Logan KO real? Of course not. Of course not, dude. I'm so Ronry, so Ronry, so Ronry and weary I roam. I don't think that anyone is above taking a bribe. I don't think there is a person on earth, well, certainly not in the fight business, that doesn't have a number. You know, like everybody's got a number. Everybody's got a number. And the more the older guys are, the more likely they are to work a fight. That's just a fact, dude. Because the only reason you wouldn't do it before, I mean, not the only reason, I mean, aside from like, I don't know, ethics and principles. Actually, you know what? Like Khabib and those guys aren't taking money. Those guys are not taking money. That's a different culture. But it's one of the reasons why I respect those guys so much. It's like this is actually kind of a strong, coherent point here. Is like the idea that someone values something more than money that you can't hold on to, like not like a physical thing. Like there's something not physical that they value more than money is a foreign. It's honestly like it's like a foreign culture concept here, you know. And when you think about it, it's like that's kind of fucking embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You don't think Chael has a number? I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't speak for anyone specifically. That's a conversation each person would have with themselves. But like, but again, like Anderson, these guys, like when I watch guys who are way past where they're actually fighting for any reason related to like winning a belt or whatever, I'm always super suspicious. Like when Rampage got knocked out in the first by Fedor, I was like, come on, dude. Come on. Really? Really? I didn't backpedal on that topic. That's just, I mean, our culture's been rotted out from the inside. Frank Mir just mentioned me in his story. I wonder why. I'm excited to hang out with these fucking guys. Ooh, Anderson Silva is live. Let's see. Oh, shit. Dude, what that like that big robot that Jake has? Shit's fucking weird. How does that thing work? Hold up. I'm not saying they're perfect, but you don't get how people think they're different from any other fighter in the sport. It's because their culture's different. Like the best thing I ever saw about that topic. Oh, well, like Anatomy of a Fighter is great, obviously. But Anatomy of a Fighter is phenomenal. But I like from like a high level documentary, somebody covering it. When Mix Molly did the back-to-back, he did Fire and Ice and then Culture Clash, which was about Conor McGregor versus Khabib. Like those are masterpieces. They're masterpieces because they really do such an incredible job of kind of really making you understand the two different cultures by telling the story through the eyes of both parties, because you really like you really get to see what Conor looks like to them. And it's hard to explain, but like they don't doing any like losing a fight on purpose for money to them would be it would be, I mean, I'm not saying that there's not one person that would do it over there, but I'm saying it would like that would be seen as like, I don't even know. Like that's just not something that they would do. I actually was talking to Will Harrison about this yesterday. Hang on, what exactly? Yeah, to Will Harris, I was like, because he had just put out the Anatomy of a Fighter finale from UFC 280, like with Islam and them. And I watched it. I was like, dude, that was incredible work. And then he was just telling me that he's really close with all those guys now. And I was like, it must be, you know, I said, I would imagine spending time with them really drills home how people in our culture don't have any principles that they attach their life to. And he was like, yes, that. From when those kids could walk away, they are in the most serious. And I'm taught respect. Yeah, I mean, for sure, dude. Have you guys watched the thing where Bilal is talking about what it's like to have Khabib as your head coach? Like, if you hear that somebody's fighting who is on Khabib's team, like I think if you always just bet on whoever Khabib's guy is, you're going to have a fucking pretty strong record. Jake should fight some nationally ranked fighters at his weight class. That would be interesting. Why? You know, he's not saying he's the best in the world. He's selling fights, and he wants to, you know, incrementally improve his competition. This is legit. I mean, this is a real fight, Anderson Silva. All right, I gotta jump. I'm gonna go watch a movie with my family. But love you guys. Watch the Fight Companion tomorrow. It's gonna be really fun. Later.